The most powerful creatures in the world are still vulnerable to man.
Come through here like it's your own private highway.
But mankind's threat to the environment is about to be challenged by one boy.
That's Willy! It's Willy!
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actor Neil Matarazzo. It's pretty cool because this is his first big movie that he worked on. Sequel that we're covering this week, Free Willy 2. And yeah, Neil talked about his journey from Jersey to Hollywood, talked commercial work, teaching acting, playing on cop shows, cool Bryan Cranston story, and lots more. So if you haven't heard that, be sure to check it out after this week's review. We're talking about a movie that I never saw this movie as a kid, and I don't know if I would show this movie to my kids. So we'll get into Free Willy 2. But before we talk about anything, I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
Doug, I had a whale of a good day today.
You did have a whale of a good day, did you?
You know,
remember this movie? This is like post your like kid movie watching thing because you're in college at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first one. I remember the first one. Michael Jackson had that big song, which it sounds like Michael Jackson has
Great
another
cast.
song in this.
He does.
The first one.
What did you? The first cast. Okay. I saw the movie as a kid, but Lori Petty, Danielle Harris, and a cool connection to Danielle Harris. Danielle Harris, Halloween 4, in Free Willy 1, director of Free Willy 2, director of Halloween 4. Dwight Little. Pretty crazy.
I didn't know that. Now
that he's doing this. Yeah.
I didn't know Michael Madsen plays normal roles.
Oh, dude. Admit it. He was great, right? As the dad figure.
When I saw the character and I didn't put two and two together. I'm like, he kind of looks like Michael Madsen. He had like that look to him. And then I'm looking, but I actually had to look it up and say, is this Michael Madsen? Because I've never seen him in unless I don't remember, but I've never seen him in a normal, non-violent, non-crazy role. Yeah. And it was so out of character. And he does a good job, but he seems so normal. He's one of those actors that really, he's awesome when he plays the psychopath, which is almost all the time. So it was very odd to see him in a role like this.
Yeah, and when you do, again, I don't remember the first one seeing it as a kid. That was probably when I saw it. I remember it being a cool VHS tape. It was like one of those big ones. And when I looked at the credits when I was getting ready to talk to Neil, and I'm like, oh, cool. Let me look who was in this. And I'm like, Michael Madsen. First thought in my head was, oh, he's like an evil. He's a bad guy.
He's the bad guy.
He's like Kilpatrick. Like Kilpatrick's the bad guy in like Three Ninjas 3 or one of these sequels. Yeah. But you're like, all right, cool. You're gonna get that guy that's like this heavy hitter doing a family movie as like a bad guy. But no, he's like a very kind, caring. Well, they were mean to Elvis.
We'll get to, and that kid is from Bronxdale. He plays
that's
the
not
young.
Even just Bronxdale. That's the kid also from Kazam. And that's the kid, if you look at his IMDb right now, he looks like he's in a gang in East LA.
As soon as I saw this, I'm like, I have to get in touch with him. And there's no message. I can't message him because he probably, I'm sure he's not doing anything outside of being in a gang. But yeah, what's crazy is I'm thinking all right, so, we got Michael Madsen and, it was a shock to begin with. But how did that come about? How do they say, he'd be perfect for this role? Because yes, he could have been the guys that were trying to kill Willy. The fact that they thought he would be good for this role, I wonder, are we missing out on a whole side of his career that he played nice guys?
You know what? I wonder if we look at his IMDb, when did it turn? Because Reservoir Dogs was 93, but maybe, you know what? Wouldn't that be crazy that this was the turning point around this time and he played normal roles before that? Because I don't remember
then he did Kill
any...
Bill.
That's way after this.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's not like he made a turn. Yeah. He still had it in his blood.
No, I know, but I wonder if maybe his early part of his career he was playing more of dramatic and those type of roles until maybe he was able to be he's amazing in Reservoir Dogs.
Well, he's amazing in everything. So I think I'm gonna have to creep on his IMDb after this, and I didn't even think about it. Like, I'm curious how many. Like, imagine he's just like so many like Disney movies and nice guy. Like, he's in all these movies, then all of a sudden the next movie makes Kill Bill.
He makes
it's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, so
let's
get it.
This is a kids movie because first of all, I don't remember the first movie at all. I mean,
I just remember he jumps in the air, he jumps over something because it kind of reminded me of like thinking of Jaws 1 and Jaws 2 because we're talking about a giant thing in the ocean. When he says the line, we'll get more in depth later, but when he says, "Come on, you remember?" and he like points up, and I'm like, "Oh my god, they're doing the same ending."
Okay, well, and the fact it's called Free Willy. Free Willy, it's literally the last 10 minutes of the movie. There's no Free Willy for most of them, and in fact, it should almost be like Free Luna. Like, I think Luna had a bigger role, the sister. Okay. Which brings me to like one of the biggest. Actually, I have two big questions. One, this is the same kind of whale that was Orca, the killer whale, right?
Yeah.
So this is a killer whale. They feel that comfortable with all those whales having this kid constantly swim around. Like, these are killer
by himself,
whales,
and they're watching and kind of cheering on. Not like, oh, maybe the whales are getting agitated if the news cameras are on them and people are snapping photos.
And okay, fine. You want to say that they trained the one whale? Fine, that's one whale. There were 5 other whales in this movie. Like, none of them are killer whales. Like, and
they didn't have names. We get like Willy and Luna, and it's like, there's the third guy.
Okay, so here's the big question, and it's kind of a twofold question. One, you think it's that easy to see these kind of whales because they all look alike, to know which one is Willy, which one is, and the fact that the guy's like, oh yeah, and that's Willy's sister, and that one's the mother, and that one's this. Like, he knows the whole family dynamic.
Yeah.
How do you know the family dynamic? I mean, really, ridiculous. And
Willy did have a birthmark that they zoomed in on when Willy came out of the water, and he's like, it's Willy. And you see that they like showed the birthmark. It's like, oh, that's the only whale I can add to that. But it's 3 dots.
But 90% of the time before that, he's swimming far in the ocean. They're going to see that birthmark, like the know that's Willy. And I mean, let's be honest. Willy basically communicates as if he's human in this movie.
He does.
It's so ridiculous. So, okay. But
so,
I mean,
can I introduce my gripe since we're talking about it? Here's my big gripe in the movie, and I hope this plays.
Like, oh, okay.
Just great.
So, for people not watching, Jesse drops his harmonica he's on like a Jason Voorhees like dock, drops it, and Willy is there, and he blows out of his blowhorn, and then wait,
did you say blowhorn?
Yeah, what do you blow hole? I guess you put a horn on it.
I guess.
But then the harmonica's on the tongue. What?
No, like I said, Willy is a human in this. Like, the way he talks to this kid.
It is unbelievable.
Well, now that you showed that, I'm going to also have another gripe. I feel like the water around the dock and most of the cove and everything else is very shallow. And then you see the water right by the dock. It's like the deepest part of the ocean right by the dock. Like, so how is that dock standing there if the ocean if Willy's able to get that close to the dock? I mean, docks aren't they in the ocean? Like,
yeah, and then they're in the ground.
Okay,
yeah.
So how long are those legs of the dock?
I know.
Like, the fact that Willy can go that close. Usually the dock is like the most shallow area.
Yeah, no, he's like going under it. So no, for that part that I just showed, when you saw that, was your first reaction, oh, he's dreaming?
No.
You thought a whale caught a harmonica on its tongue?
Well, again, this movie, I mean, it wasn't the first time he reacted to I mean, listen, there's a point in this movie where he's giving directions to Willy. Willy's already far ahead of him, and he's pointing where he wants Willy to go, and Willy is obeying the signs. Like, yeah. So, I mean, like I said, they made Willy a human. So, like, if I wasn't surprised. The way this kid talks to Willy, and Willy understands everything. I mean, it's like Coco the gorilla. They taught the gorilla a couple sign language things, but you're not having a full conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and you're using sign language. At least it's like signing, like, you know, you can make like different kind of symbols to match what you're trying to talk about. He's having a free sentence, like speaking clearly to a whale, and the whale understands everything.
Yeah, the whale not only understands, it disagrees at times and shakes its head saying, nah, not listening. No.
It does.
Willy, you got to get out of here. Like a toddler shaking its head.
It really is. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
man. So early on in the movie, what's really cool is a lot of those shots where you see the whales in the water. Neil's wife worked on the second unit for that. She did some of the special effects, but she was there hanging out, helping out with the second unit shots, which, man, so much fun.
That's cool.
And that's what's cool about this movie. You have like Jesse and the family, you have him like close ups with Willy, and then maybe some like sort of close ups on the boat. And then it's like there's probably like 20 minutes of just whale footage to fill time.
Well, you know what? I mean, listen, the cinematography of the beginning of the movie is very cool. I mean, everything looks so awesome, like the water, the air, it was like an eagle view of everything. But there was also like tons of like side stories that were really not, like, it was just weird. Like, again, the relationship with the girl. First of all, the kid was like, you know, creepy, like spying on this girl all the time and trying to get,
I know. Oh my God, dude. Yes.
Staring, like, you know, like, listen, I mean, you know, we've all been in that age. First of all, this kid is 12 years old, right? In this movie, I think. He's not even like, because I think he's like 16 in the next movie. I think I looked it up. So he's like 12 years old.
He's in the third one? Oh, he's in the third one?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
I think he is. So, but he is in the third one. Oh, he's like, I mean, like, we've all been that age. We've all, you know, like girls at the age, but I don't think I've ever just stared at the girl I like all the time. Like this kid, every time he saw her, he was just staring at her. And even when the guy who looks like Steven Seagal, you know, was saying that's my goddaughter, he still ignored and was still like creeping on her.
Yes, he got creepier.
He did.
He did.
And then he's spying on her in the woods, and he's spying, like, you know, like just, and he did a very risky move, because when they make out later on, and he's in his bathing suit, you know, I mean, he's young. I'm assuming it's probably one of his first kisses he's ever had. I don't know if you want to do that while you're in your bathing suit.
That's true.
You know,
bitch
at that age.
Yeah. Sure. Oh my God, man. So then what's cool about this movie is when you get these people that are not going to be like huge, but people you know from other things that are right around the time, like Bubba is in this movie, and this is like a year after Forrest Gump. And then one of the girls that's like kind of flirting with Jesse, like that group of girls in that opening scene, she's the main girl from Wet Hot American Summer, like Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, that movie.
Okay.
So yeah, so we get a really deep thing for a kid's movie. We find out his mom dies in the first 5 minutes. Oh,
but okay. So I don't remember the first movie, but like she abandoned him.
Yeah.
So I mean, like first of all, that's pretty rough as it is. You know, you're a young, and you know, he's only 12 in this movie. So I don't know what the time frame is between this movie and the other movie. So let's just say
probably only a year or two. I don't think it's a lot.
Okay, but okay. So the first movie, the mom abandons the kid, and then the second movie, she dies. Like, that's two heavy hitting, you know, drama type things for a kid to deal with. You know, which then we meet out, you know, with Elvis. The whole situation with Elvis is like, it's just brutal.
Yeah. Oh my God, Elvis. And then that's when, right now is when he reveals, hey, you have a half brother who's 8 and he has nowhere to go. And he's pissed off about the thing. And then he pulls like a Red McCormick and he like rides off on his bike, pissed off to like because Madsen and his wife have to have like money. Like they have a nice chunk of property, and then they have like the house is nice, and they have a huge barn for their boat.
But let me ask you, so he's mad at Elvis because he finds out he has a stepbrother, but wouldn't that, I would think you should have the opposite of reaction. Like, you have no family, right? The only family you had was your mom who died, who abandoned you. And now you find out you actually have a brother? Like, that's like great. Like, I have family. He rejects this kid without even knowing him. Like, he's so angry. Like, why is he angry at Elvis?
I think he's jealous of Elvis because he didn't get to be with his mom the last 8 years. Hey, my mom abandoned me, and I always thought it was something wrong with her, but then she went on and had another kid, so maybe it's something wrong with me.
Yeah, I guess.
See, that's why he's a douche to him the whole thing. And then the worst part is, it was the worst, and it made it for this ending type scene to be really that much more like emotional. It was pretty good the way it was done, but like when Elvis is like, "Oh yeah, I don't know, she never talked about you." No, didn't talk about anything.
Well, first of all, Elvis lies throughout the whole movie.
Oh, he's terrible.
Right. So, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, when he first meets him, I mean, he does seem like a wise ass kind of kid, and he just lies like left and right. So, I could see that, the kid's annoying, but they also didn't give this kid a chance. And I'm sure it's a lot to take in a stranger, the strange kid right away, and it's probably hard to adjust. But even the parents treated Elvis like crap.
Oh, no, they didn't like him.
Like really, no one treated him nice. So, like, I don't blame the kid for, like, trying to, like, pump himself up with different lies because, really, no one was paying attention to him.
Yeah, he did have a really sweet Nick hat, and we'll talk about what he learned from his mom, how to move around and stuff. That was something. So Madsen reveals he follows Jesse to the dock. Says, hey, he's going to be, he's going to come live with us. We're going to give him a shot. And then even the kid was like, yeah, until she falls in love with him and then doesn't want him to leave. And he's like, yeah, I know. That's probably going to happen. But man, dude, one thing that's cool is Jesse's room. You got to think, you're a kid that obviously you're in a rough situation. But man, his room was cool. When the mom was like, hey, do you want to come down and meet Elvis? And he has this beautiful view of the water. Like, he had it going on there.
And it doesn't seem like Madsen and his wife work. So like what are they like doing? I mean, the only guy that seems to be working is the guy with the ponytail with the yacht. Who's going out there, which I don't even know what he does. He just goes out there and looks for whales and comes back. Like I don't know. Like what does anyone there do for work outside of the cops that we saw?
Yeah, I don't know what they're getting paid for. I don't know if there's like a whale division of like there's something because not only is he doing it, the girl. Nadine, his goddaughter, she is working for him. She's like interning, so she's getting credits somehow. So it must be some kind of accredited
well, that seems kind of weird too, because I mean she's also young, and her full day is working on a yacht. Like she doesn't go to school, she's a parent. Like, yeah, I mean, where does this take place? This movie?
Washington State.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's wearing Seattle stuff, and whales are up there on the coast.
Okay.
So, I remember when I was in Oregon, we'd be able to see whales on the coast. But, he's wearing, like, a bunch of Seattle stuff, and then I think there's a reference to Washington. But,
okay.
How about, do you remember who Elvis said his mom said his dad was, his real dad?
You know what? I forgot.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino, that's right.
Which is kind of like the writer digging a little bit at, or Dwight Little, like, because De Niro and Palminteri discovered that kid for Bronx Tale. So it's pretty funny. You take like the guy that was always like in that category, like who would you like better, Pacino or De Niro? And it's like,
it would have been funnier if he did say Robert De Niro. That would have been great. But I laughed actually the part when I think the mom or dad said Elvis is an interesting name. Where'd you get it from? And the kid goes, my mom.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, that's how names work. Right away, Madsen was like, this effing kid, get him out of here. But how about this? Not even though they're taking it at a kid, they're immediately taking it at a kid and then going on vacation with him.
I said that. I go, again, this kid, I mean, he comes in like he's, like, again, he's kind of punky, you don't like, he looks like he could steal, candy at a store. Like he just looks like that, so you don't know this kid and you're just bringing him out of all places, like camping, like where everything is just so like, he doesn't look like he would be a camper. First of all, it looks like he would absolutely hate camping. He looks like a city kid, so like that would probably be the worst idea for the first time of like meeting the kid and like doing something, right? I mean, like, it's almost like a continuous dig to this kid. Like, they treated him like crap. So let's give him the worst possible trip that he would hate as much.
Oh my God. Can you imagine that? That'd be a cruel thing. Foster parents that don't want to really foster kids and they just pick the worst weekend for them. Like, hey, let's do the trial weekend. Do you want to, chase bears. It's like, I don't want to be with this family.
No, yeah, I mean that's ridiculous.
Oh man. So yeah, so we talked about so they're there, they're on vacation, right away they see a whale. So right away, like Elvis is like not too amazed, right?
Well,
he's like,
yeah, because it's not
cool.
he's not a camp kid. Like this is like, to them it's probably, their everyday stuff. They love, looking at this, but care less. I mean, you could tell, But I still want to, like, I'm really curious, like, can people tell the difference between one whale from another? They really look the same outside of the one little birthmark. Like, I mean, like, it just, I don't know. I just think that's so far-fetched that you're gonna be able to spot, the whale that you treated years ago.
Yeah, even whenever I watch, like, or even if you go to a local farm, you take your kids to the local farm.
There's a lot of whales at the farm?
No, the chickens, and they know the names of every chicken. It's like 30 chickens, and it's like 25 of them look the same.
I think they're just, listen, we don't know if they really know. They're probably lying every single time you go to a farm and say, oh yeah, this is Bob and this is Fred. Like they probably they have no clue, but it makes it sound like they really know what they're talking about. How can you tell?
Like, hey, buddy, you said petunia twice. Oh, we have two petunias.
Oh, they're twins.
Good catch. They're twins. Petunia and petunia. Yeah, no, that is that whole thing with the whale. Like, obviously they have some kind of purpose, like his job. I don't know who pays him. Probably like taxpayer dollars.
Like, but what? Again, he just goes out. First of all, it's a nice boat. So what is the like? What is he doing? Like, they don't really explain why he's out there whale watching.
Yeah, no.
And honestly, it almost feels. First of all, let's be honest. If they didn't go out there whale watching, Willy would never have come close over there. The whales probably would have been so far away from the oil spill and the fire and everything else. Like, it was their fault that the whales got trapped.
They'd be saved. They're like the final girl in a movie.
They wouldn't have been around. They wouldn't even be near there. Yeah.
How about, you think, what's harder to spot a whale or to know what whale sounds like what? Because they're like, okay, that's Willy. That kid hasn't heard that in 3 years, and that's Willy.
And wouldn't you think that all whales sound the same? Like,
yes.
There's no way. Like, I mean, listen. I mean, you can hear different dog barks, but for the most part, small dogs all sound the same. Big dogs, like they all have the same. You're gonna tell me whales have different, so distinctive voices or sounds? You could tell. Oh yeah, that's Fred, that's Willy, and that's whatever. That's Luna.
That'd be great if the kid listened to it and it was like, you hear like that's terrible, but you hear that over and over again. And then at the end, Jesse's like, haha, that Willy's so funny. It's like he's sitting there telling jokes, yo mama jokes in the ocean.
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if the kid just understood everything Willy was saying, because like I said, they're communicating together throughout the movie is just so insane. But yeah, you're right. Like, they didn't even see Willy. He just heard it on the whatever it was, and he knew right away that was Willy. Listen, the fact that he knows which one is Willy's sister, mom, and neighbor, it's ridiculous. Like, this whole, I really don't. I wanted to see like a marine biologist or whatever. I don't know who does all this stuff like that. That if they really could tell, like, when they go out there, they could tell the family pods. They could tell like, I don't think so. I think that is like probably one of the most far-fetched things. I mean, there's a lot of far-fetched things in this movie, but I can't imagine that. I really can't.
Well, if you're a scientist, marine biologist at Sequels Only, let us know. Can you tell if I give you a lineup of 10 whales? Could you pick out the one that you said I don't know.
Hey, can you tell which ones are related?
Yeah.
Tough. So
unless you were there when they did it, how would you know which one's the dad? This isn't more. Are you doing DNA? Are you doing DNA tests?
And that's a lot of creeping and waiting.
It is very creepy watching them. Hey, I think they're doing it. Put it on the chart, man. But it is cool. Like, it's very overwhelming when you see all of the whales. When he hears Willy and he sees Willy, and they don't get really close at the first time. But then the harmonica scene that I played before, and we talked about, like, he's just there. And then they're like, oh, here. And then he's talking to Willy about his dead mom. And it's like, whoa. And Willy's sad. He's making sad sounds.
He, like I said, he understands them. But the fact that they're out there with all these whales, and there really is no fear that one's going to attack. I mean, listen, we did see Willy angry later on, and I mean, like, you could see, like, in the limited amount of anger that he had, he was doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So, like, what's not stopping any of those whales when they're out there? Because there was like 5 or 6 of them at the time. You're like your lonely ship out there with 2 young kids on the boat, and you feel 100%. You could tell me they feel 100% safe that nothing's gonna happen out there.
Yeah, well, Willy almost went off and knocked over Elizabeth Pena, who was she was in a ton of stuff. But the fact that almost happened and they were still getting close after that, I don't know, man.
Listen, I mean, I don't know if that's more far-fetched or the fact that the medicine they gave this whale was a tiny needle for a massive whale. I don't think it would, first of all, I don't even think it would penetrate the skin of that whale, let alone, like cure whatever's going on in that massive whale from that little medicine they have. It's ridiculous.
It's very ridiculous. So now they're, so Elvis and Jesse, like, right, isn't it like he creeping on him when they're sleeping, when they're staring at each other, when they're sleeping face to face?
Well, first, before that, they go in the tent and he's like, all right, we're going to sleep. And then Elvis says one word and Jesse yells at him, go to sleep. Like, literally, it was like not even 5 minutes of the kid putting his head down and he's yelling at him because he asked one question or something like that. Like, yeah, I mean, and then, this rest of this time, like, they were acting like brothers that tease each other. Is really, this whole scene. So,
yeah, they're just like, and then he's like, I don't sleep. And then, so now they're going back up to Randolph's boat. He wants to go up again. This is where he's rocking like the cool vintage Seahawks cap. So, dude, like you said before, when he's stalking the girl, that was.
How about the fact that he goes there with Elvis? He sees the girl, and then he leaves Elvis, who has no clue where he is. He doesn't know the area at all. He's really doesn't know the area. And he's like, just, leave. And he goes, follows the girl. Like, what is this kid going to do? Like, because they walk through the woods to get there. Right. I mean, so like, there's no way Elvis is finding his way back.
What were they actually going? Oh, it's because the boat was broken. Randolph's boat was messed up. That's what it was.
Correct.
Oh my God. And then Elvis is peeping on his half brother. Like within
a bunch of peepers. It was like a double peeper.
Double peeping, yeah. I peep you, you peep me. But like the fact that he was like right away like watching his brother. But it was weird when he approached that girl. Like she seemed like she really loved animals and the ocean. Like her description of everything, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
Jeez. Okay, so that area where they were, how shallow was that water? Because it looked very shallow.
It was very shallow when they were in it, but somehow Willy shows up.
That's what I'm saying. And, this whole part, like that water should be like. There's no way it's as deep it is, because even like parts when they're like following Willy and on the side, like Willy's just swimming around that whole area. You're to tell me the entire place is just deep everywhere? There's no like walking in?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
Or there's a perfect trench in the middle. But the fact that he goes from like talking to this girl, talking about Willy shows up because now Willy's stalking him. Like you have like Elvis stalking his brother, Willy stalking Jesse, and then within seconds, like that girl's like running for her life, and you look over and he's riding Willy, like a pro, like it's like if that was a sport, he was gonna win.
Without a doubt. Like, does he do? I'm assuming he does it in the first movie, but like Willy remembers to like, and again, can you imagine like he made a mistake and it wasn't Willy? It was like an angry whale that was setting him up.
That'd be really funny. Hey, over here, kid, I'm Willy. And he walks over and he's like, one big bite. And then Willy's like, hey, have you seen my friend Jesse?
and okay. So here's something else that happens a bunch of times in this movie, including with Willy. They hold their breath underwater for the longest times, multiple times. Like ridiculous. And do you think it's that easy? I don't care if you've done it before, like to hold on to Willy as long and ride like the way he does it. Like it's no way that easy. First of all, aren't they slippery?
I don't know what it would feel like. Yeah, I would think it has to be slippery, But I don't know. Marine biologist, add sequels only. Is it slippery when you touch a whale? I don't know.
It gotta be. I mean, but let alone hold on when the whale's going underwater. Like, I would assume, like, as soon as it goes underwater, the pressure
You're
is gonna
done.
push you off. Like, there's no way. But he holds on the entire time. And there's points when he's going backwards. He's like holding on with the back of his arm. He's laying backwards. It's not even like, he's not even straddling it. It's like,
Yeah, Jesse's not that jacked for him to be able to do that.
no,
Like,
not at all.
And I love that Elvis tries the harmonica trick and Willy spits on him. Or a different whale. I don't know if that was Willy or Luna.
No. I think that was Willy, but they had it was actually a splash fight because he was shooting him with the gun, the water gun.
Oh, yeah.
And then Willy was shooting him back.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Oh, my God. And then right there is where we see who the villain in the movie will be. The
I've seen that guy.
Liberia oil ship. See a giant.
Some of the people on that ship I've seen before. Like, you could tell,
Well,
like, they were
last
characters.
week's guest, Neil.
Yep.
The guy who was the captain. I'm wearing my captain's hat.
That's the guy.
Listen, that captain's hat guy looked really familiar.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't look
Yes.
up where he was in, but even the other guy that calls out, like, not the guy. There's like 3 speaking people in that part.
Yep.
Neil, and then the other guy who's like another like crony kind of guy, and then the captain. But even all 3 people, I'm like, all right, I've seen them a lot.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, man.
So that was an oil tanker, but are they the same people that wanted to kill the whales also later on? Or was that a separate group?
Well, yeah, they work for them.
Okay.
Or they're the boss, but because that would turn. How about Emmett Walsh is in this movie?
Yeah, I know.
Like a guy that we almost interviewed that like during COVID, his people were like, oh, maybe, and they're like, and then sadly he passed away. I think earlier this year. Great character actor, so many roles, and to see him in this movie, and you see his terrible stunt double when they fell into the water. In fact, they put an old man in that position anyway, like as just like, hey, who should be the people that try to live this whale that we're trying to make money off of? Oh my God, man.
No.
But yeah, so Elvis comes back, he narcs on Jesse, and then Michael Madsen's getting ready to have the talk.
And again, the kid's 12. Like, so like, I'm assuming this kid really hasn't been around girls that much. So the fact that he felt like, all right, you know what? Oh, he saw this girl that he likes. You know what? We got to have the talk now. The kid's 12 years old. Like, like, does he really think? I mean, like, I thought he was a little young because he comes right out and says, yeah, we're going to talk about sex. Like, he says that to the kid
I know.
right off the bat. Like, he didn't even sugarcoat it. Like, it was just like, it was like Michael Madsen style.
He's not going to like sugarcoat it.
I was going to say it's Michael Madsen style.
Yeah. Here's what it is. So the 69, we're going to start there. Got to start there. But yeah, no, it was really weird that he was getting ready to go right into that.
Yeah.
But luckily he stopped that conversation because that really was like, again, death in first 5 minutes. Like we're getting some really deep things. So maybe they're going to try to go through with it, but good thing he stopped it.
Is this a PG movie or PG-13?
Oh, I would think it's PG. They would make them even close to the money on it if they weren't able to. But
all right.
Yeah, I would think so. But yeah, so then Elvis. So this is the part, like before when I said that he played the harmonica and they spit on him. Then the next part is when Elvis is shooting them with the water gun and he's calling them fish. He keeps like shooting them with the water gun and he keeps calling them fish. And then up top is Jesse and Nadine. They're making out once again. And then this is when we cut to the issue of the movie with the captain. When it's so funny when Neil's character is like, oh, we usually have to call for help. It looks like, again, you talk about how shallow it was. The fact that they're taking the shortcut to get through this area, it didn't make any sense. And the fact that a buoy separates shallow and high, like it should be like the buoy should be like near like only like really deep stuff.
Yeah, but Willy was on the other side, so how shallow is it?
No.
Like, so
No,
like, I mean, like what?
100%.
I don't even know if that buoy was the buoy was separating it because I don't know what it was separating because it's again it didn't seem like it was any like the only time it showed shallow is when Luna went on the beach or whatever when they had to push Luna back in.
Yeah,
which doesn't make sense because again Willy popped up there so many if it was that shallow she shouldn't even been able to get that close.
yeah,
Like
that's
so
true.
like yeah. So I'm curious, how, and I don't know much about whales. I mean, like, but that looked like fresh water. Like is it like a whale's freshwater or saltwater fish? Like that didn't look like ocean water. Like
are whales? Well, I know they're definitely ocean freshwater.
I do,
or
but I mean, can they
saltwater.
go
The
in freshwater
answer-
also?
Maybe they could be in brackish water. Let's see, saltwater, but some can survive in freshwater. So maybe it was like a
Okay.
mixture. Maybe it was like
All right.
brackish. There's a lake or
Okay.
a river right there. But
Okay.
yeah, marine biologist, man. Jamie's got a lot of questions for you. Maybe we can have it on next week and we can go through everything.
We should have had
So
a marine
then-
biologist review this with us.
That'd been good. George Costanza, maybe. So the one part when Neil's like warning him and says, "Oh, we usually have assistants when we're in waters, shallow waters like this," and the guy's like, "Reduce the speed to 12 knots." And he like looks over at the other guy like, "Hey man, I'm telling him now." But then it hits the bottom and just starts like, I guess this is right around the time, right? Because Exxon Valdez, I thought the one was like the late 80s, mid 80s. So this is like the environmental bad guy.
No, of course.
This fits in with it
But
perfect.
it literally happens like so quick after he goes faster. Like, so like that was the worst captain ever. Like,
Yes.
the fact that he goes, keep going faster, everybody else telling him not to. And he was like douchey about it. He's like getting angry. Like, this is what I said kind of thing. And then within seconds, they rip apart, the bottom of the boat or whatever, the leakage. Like, how did he get his captain license? I mean,
How
like,
did he get that? Yeah.
because he seemed like again, like same thing like Lassard. Like we have a lot of people that are high in power that somehow we always question how do they get there because they don't seem to know what they're doing.
That is true. And you know what? I think maybe he had a hot date. The fact that he was rushing. Yeah, let's get out of here. But how about like the design flaws in all of those, like Exxon Valdez, any of the oil spills? It's like, why would you? There has to be like something inside. It seems like, wait, we're filling this up to the brim. Like, if you bang on the side of this like Tupperware, oh, it's gonna start leaking. That's not safe. There should be something that's holding it in.
They should use stuff that like a battleship is made out of. Like, like if a battleship can handle cannons, all that kind of stuff, like that's what an oil rig ship should use.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's getting ripped by a buoy, like what is the buoy made of? That's what, how poorly made is that ship that started leaking?
Yeah. Just like real quick, bad decision. And then it's like, you could see it like pouring out of the ship. So then right around this time is when Jesse and Elvis are like having the heart to heart that I mentioned earlier. And that's when he is like, "Oh, did my mom ever talk about me? No." It's like, real like, oh, no, she never did.
That was a douchey response. But again, do
It
you
really
blame this
was.
kid? I mean,
No, I know.
literally,
Because he treated her like shit
Jesse-
the whole time.
there was nothing nice that Jesse did for this. I mean, the fact that he yelled at him from the minute he met him to like constantly leaving him alone. So I kind of don't blame the kid lying like that, but yeah. All right.
Yeah, and then Jesse like right away. I'm trying to think how he was. Did he just happen to be at the beach? And then they saw Luna come in.
Well, yeah, they saw Luna come in, and this is also when they said something that they need a doctor, and Willie doesn't like doctors. They said that. So I mean,
Doctors give Willy the willies.
I mean, like that comment is so ridiculous. Willie doesn't
It's
like
very
doctors.
silly.
How often does Willie go to the doctor?
I know.
Oh, it's just a yearly physical. He has to go to the doctor, but he really hates going. And then
Oh, no,
then
Willie.
Jesse goes, "Don't worry, I'll convince him." Really? Like it's okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll talk to Willie, baby. Willie, we gotta do this, man. Gotta get better.
so ridiculous.
Yeah, that is very. There's so many silly things, but yeah, the fact that the kid dives right in the water, he's like covered in oil. Everybody else comes down. They see that, and then how about the tackle box? They use the tackle box. Like it's like the medical supplies are in a tackle box to help Luna. And I'm like,
Well, that's to
What
show
could
that
be
it's fish stuff. Well, it's like a doctor's bag. If a doctor's bag for humans, they have a tackle box bag for.
it has to fit. Where if you're a doctor, you go to a very rich person's house, you're using like a leather bag, you're opening it up.
See?
You know, poor guy's house, you're using like the shop bag, the store bag. Just throw the
you're
tools in
treating
there.
monkeys. You're like it's like a grocery bag, like banana, like something with bananas.
Banana,
And, it's something, But again, the needle that they were planning on giving this whale, I mean, it was human sized needle.
Mhm.
Like it was like you would. I mean, I gotta assume it's not going to be able to go through the skin of a whale. Like I mean, like
No.
and
And
I
where's
would
it gonna
assume
go?
also
It's gonna stay in that one area. It's probably gonna
That's
take
what I mean, like-
forever to go through a body.
it's the same amount of medicine you would give a human. So like I'm picturing like like if you're gonna give a whale a needle, it's got to be like a big needle like this that you would give like a giant, and then you have to like like almost like a harpoon and like
Yeah.
enough to get the size. I mean, the size of a whale is huge. Like, what is a little medicine gonna do?
It's not gonna do anything. And it almost pisses off Luna because this is, I don't know if I wrote down it was Luna. Maybe I was wrong, but
No, it was
almost
Luna.
knocked over
Luna-
those other doctors. No, I'm saying
Well-
the one that almost when it was leaving,
Oh.
it was like going towards the boat of the other doctors. I
No,
don't know
that
if
was Willy because he was
It was Willy.
angry. No, it was Willy because he was angry. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I could see why he doesn't like doctors because they don't know what they're doing because they're giving
That's
small
true.
needles and medicine to this Luna,
Yeah.
who's his sister. They knew,
He's like, that doesn't work. We weigh a lot more than you.
And the fact that Willy's acting wild at this point, because he's frustrated,
Mhm.
and they're still letting the kids sit like that close to Willy. Like, I mean, like, listen, it is still a wild animal, whatever. Like you're still like, I don't care how much. Listen, I see these videos all the time of people that are rescuing lions and tigers and all these kind of things. It's great, but they are still wild, and I don't know if you can 100% trust them. Let alone the minute you start seeing them go wild. All right, you know what? Let's give them their space.
Let's
Let
back
me
up.
walk away.
Let's
That's-
leave.
Yeah. I mean, someone could have told Siegfried and Roy the same thing. Look what
Yeah.
happened. So yeah. So
But when they were going after Elizabeth Pena, I was like, man, I have to look her up. She was in La Bamba, Rush
Yep.
Hour. Her dad was the director and the writer. But so now we get the big bad oil guy who's like a poor man's Michael Shannon. He looks like Michael Shannon, like
he does.
which
he does.
at the time Michael Shannon was probably probably not that age, but he was giving off those vibes of like, hey, we have to figure this out and fix this quick. What should we do? We have to get a kid to talk to a whale in order to get his whale family to leave. And that was
Who agreed to that? Because the only person that knew, like really, the only two people that knew that he could probably do that would be his Michael Madsen and the guy that
the other
with
people,
the
maybe the
ponytail.
people from the first one that lived in the neighborhood. I'm sure he's like a local legend. Hey, that's the boy who can, like the boy who can fly.
Okay, so
He's
so
the boy who
you're-
can talk to a whale.
So you ever see the movie The Boy That Could Fly?
No, I just know it. I know it as a
It's a
joke.
movie.
I say.
I saw
I
it as a
know it
kid,
is, yeah.
But so you're again. So your plan again. This is the town that whales are pretty big in this town because that's the only person who seems to be working is the guy in the big boat who's looking for whales. And your backup plan for any time a whale's in trouble is to call on the 13-year-old.
Yeah. Right? Could you imagine that?
That's-
It's like it's
that's
not
the
you're
backup
calling. You're not Commissioner Gordon calling Batman. You're calling a 13-year-old
It's a 13-year-old
kid with
that could
zits,
talk. That
horny
that
for
could
girls,
talk to a whale.
and he can talk to a whale. That's his thing.
And again, like he's not even giving symbols or anything like or code to the whale. He's literally having a full conversation. So Willy's his English language knowledge is every single word in the English.
Yeah.
Like he learned every word, not just like little, here and there, like not like food, treat, trick. He learned the full language because he understands everything.
Yeah. My God, dude. And the fact that Jesse's like, all right, I'm going to help you, but you have to promise to find Willy's mom for Willy and Luna so they can be together. And the guy goes, I don't know. I can't make that promise. I guess I'll try. And he's like, so all you got to do is try. And it's like, oh my God, this guy, you just gave it out to lie. He was like, oh yeah, sure, we'll try. And he's actually kind of honest at this point, right? Like, I think
He is
he's
a
legit
12-year-old.
honest.
Wait. So yeah, but he says he is a 12-year-old. So I'm sure his negotiating skills are not great.
Not great at all.
So I mean, so yeah, yes, I think he was trying because at this point they weren't talking about killing any of the whales.
Oh no, that was only
Right. So he was
and
being
then
honest.
at Walsh at the diner. That was the only.
Yes.
That was the only time that I thought that was going to happen. At first, at this point, I was like, okay, obviously the bad guys, the oil company and the oil, but they're kind of nice with Jesse. Like they're on the same page. So I was like, why are they going to create a conflict here? And then it was like Emmett Walsh, hey, we need you to do 2 days. And he like does the diner scene and he falls off a boat. That's it.
Well, I mean, so there's already a disaster going on and the town is freaking out about killing all these fish that are in the ocean because of the oil. And you want to bring a second part of it and kill the whales that are local to this town? Like you really want, like, think that, first of all, that was a lot for to really show like what these bad guys are, because they could have gotten away with just being the bad guy of having the oil and conflict between environmentalists and the oil company and all that kind of stuff. But to add in the murder of these whales, that's heavy.
Very serious.
Did
Like that got really serious when they no, they didn't want to kill him. They wanted to sell him to a zoo.
No, I thought they wanted to kill him because they said we haven't seen whales like this.
No, they wanted to put him in an aquarium and make money off him. That was like Emma Walsh, and then he like giggled. He was like, "Yeah, why not make money off?"
Oh, that's right, because they had Luna hanging in that thing. Okay, I thought they wanted to kill him.
And then Willy saved the day. He flew through. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So now everybody's watching Jesse. He's the harmonica. And this is where you alluded to earlier, like how aggressive Willy is. And Jesse's like, calm down. And now it's like, you got to think, Willy at this point, he obviously hates doctors, but this is when he's able to distract Willy in order for them to be able to work on Luna. So he's like, look over here. And then Luna's getting the medicine from Elizabeth Pena and the other doctor.
Yeah. You know what? Willy's been super smart in this movie. I don't know if he would fall for that trick.
Oh, you don't think he would fall to the quarter behind your ear?
I think he would sense the fact that there's a boat, right behind you, feeding on. And how loud is that harmonica for Willy to hear when he's underwater? I mean, I can't imagine really hearing much. And if anything, it would be like a squeaky kind of like I don't think it would sound like a harmonica.
You'd be like, what is that? What's that sound? And it's like, yeah. But he knows.
You would think it would be muffled, right? It's a muffled sound underwater. So you would like
you would think it would sound muffled.
Right. Okay. There you go. That's what it would sound like. So like, I don't think it would sound like harmonica that he recognizes. Oh, that must be Jesse calling me.
Yeah. So there's an all-timer line in this. Like, this is one I'll always remember from this movie. Like, whenever we do our yearly look back or in, 5 years, 10 years, when we think of this sequel, it'll be this one line. So if I handed you something and said, hey, you're going to want to hear this, you would think it's like a pre-recorded thing, right? Or a song or something.
Right.
So the one henchman gives the oil guy the phone and says, you're going to want to hear this. And the guy picks it up, puts it to his ear, and it's a phone. It's an actual person. So not like, it made no sense to say like, hey, you don't want to hear this. It's like, oh, did you already hear it? So you think it's really important? Or
so you're telling me he repeated it twice?
Could you imagine that? That'd be amazing. Hey, boss,
I got to do it again?
Sorry, it's not me. I picked up his phone. Hey, I'll give it to him right now. That's the only way that would make sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it was almost like he called. He immediately told them the plan before the henchman could say, "Oh, it's not Charlie." And then after he tells it, he goes, "Sorry, boss, it's not. I got to do it again now."
Yeah, Charlie, you don't want to hear this.
The whole spiel.
That's a great way to think of it. Yeah, but that was just like so ridiculous. And then at this point now, Nadine, she's crying about the otters. Jesse's trying to console her. And I looked at her IMDb. I'm like, she's kind of like a heavy hitter. She's one of those people that when they're a child actor, like you nail like a bunch of movies, and then maybe it was her choice or auditions didn't work well, but she's in Gilbert's Grape, this movie, and Apollo 13 all within like 3 years. That's a lot of good stuff.
What's Eating Gilbert's Grape?
Is that the name of the movie?
No, it's What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Gilbert Grape?
You said...
I thought he owned it. I thought he possessed a grape.
So the movie's about who's eating Gilbert's grape. That's the whole movie. That's the mystery. there's a grape missing, and we got to find out who's been eating Gilbert's grape.
And it's what's his name from Clouseau. He's the detective on the case.
Gosh.
We are here to look for a grape.
So do you think at this point, do you think Jesse really cares when he's consoling Nadine, or he's still thinking of like creeping on this girl? He's like, all right, I got to console her. You know, I got to show that I'm the nice guy. Like, I don't think he's really thinking about the fish anymore or the otters. I don't think he cares.
His inner thoughts are, I want to see your boobs. I want to see your boobs. I want to see your boobs. She's like, I don't know. I care about the otters. He's like, otters are cool. Boobs are better. But it's like, yeah, no, he's just totally horned out.
No.
And
yeah.
Again, it's really serious when this stuff happens. Like, I know, again, maybe they didn't want to hit it too hard. They were talking about like the animals and everything. It's like, oh, this community is going down. Because if they get any of the local restaurants, if they get any of the food from the ocean, can't do that anymore. The people's like, everything is going to be jacked up.
See, that's what like is crazy, because they kind of added two stories at once. Like, it almost like this, the story of taking the whales into an aquarium or whatever could have been the third movie. Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that could have been like, you got this ship that's going out there. Like, they could have just rode the oil spill and how it's going to affect the town and the animal and the fish in the water, like in the ocean. That could have been a story itself. To add that was like double of, you know, like disaster.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot going on. So at this point, this is when Elvis wants to help, but nobody's letting him, so he starts to run away.
Okay. So he wants to help at the point where Luna was beached. Well, he wanted help before that. So Luna was beached on this, and they're trying to push Luna back in the ocean. They had about 8 people on there. Why couldn't they just let Elvis put his hands on
I know,
Luna?
that was kind of weird.
Because it's not like he would be in the way. You know, they're all like, it would have shown like, all right, hey, you know, like you're doing something, you're helping push. Like the mom, like literally chased them off after already telling him.
Not even telling him, a spit shake. They did a spit shake.
Okay, they did do a spit, which extremely gross.
That was really gross.
Yeah, and he hocked a loogie. I mean, like, it wasn't like a little spit, like he, like, you know, but yes, so like she basically, and how long ago was that spit shake that she agreed that
minutes
when he was out asking for help?
Like it was minutes.
So she basically went against what she just promised this poor kid who just lost his mom that he was living with and brand new family, and she basically lied to him within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So no wonder this kid lies.
I even wrote down before that, I thought he was going to run away in the earlier scene when he was trying to help and nobody would let him. And then he ran away, and then she found him and said, yeah, I'll let you help next time. And then that's when he runs away and he starts hitching. We have like a 10-year-old kid hitchhiking in this.
Well, I mean, he does seem like a street kid, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, the fact that he was hitching, I mean, he's going to a diner, like a little crazy.
Wait. No. Not even hitching. What was he doing? Not only the people that picked up a hitchhiker, wild, a kid hitchhiker, crazier, but you make him ride in the trunk of the truck bed? He hopped out of the bed at one point when the car pulled over and he jumped out.
But wouldn't you also think, all right, I'm seeing a kid who's 8 years old hitchhiking. Maybe I should take him to the police station.
Yeah, maybe I should help him.
Like help this kid, bring him somewhere, bring him to a church, bring him somewhere where he'll be safe. No, I'll bring him wherever he's asking to go.
Yeah,
that's like ignoring the fact that he's an 8-year-old hitchhiking.
But I want to make him ride in the back. He's gonna ride in the truck.
Well, I mean, it is Washington. I mean, so I'm assuming
he could have a blade. He would look like a kid. I would have a blade. I'd be like,
he would.
You know what? I would love to pick up hitchhikers, but guys, you're going to go in this special compartment that's away from me, and then I'll pick you up. That's fine.
Oh, he definitely had a blade somewhere. He had some kind of weapon.
He definitely had the flip-out comb. Definitely. Just like...
Oh. He's like a young Ralph Macchio. Like, he could have played like the Karate Kid early years.
But he's like kind of like Squeaks. He looks like Squeaks from the Sandlot. It sounds like him a little bit. He has a little squeaky voice. I mean, that's why you get all the face tats. Maybe. He needed confidence and
I looked him up also. I couldn't believe the transition that he made from back to like this little kid to like, what he looks like now. Crazy. Shaved head and like tattoos and like,
he looks crazy, yeah. And then how about like after he like gets to the town where he's trying to go to, because we don't even know where he's trying to get to. He's just trying to run away. He like hides in a rando boat. He like sneaks under the cover and he just like sleeps in there.
Well, you got to assume this kid. The kid looks and acts like he's from New York, like
He is, and he had the Knicks hat.
Okay,
yeah.
So right, okay. So you're talking about if he's in Washington, he's hitchhiking across the country.
Oh, he's fish. He's
8-year-old.
fish out of water, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where he's. I mean, he has no clue where he's going.
Yeah.
But what money did he have? He goes
I
to
don't
this
know.
diner.
I thought he was going to steal something from the diner. That's what I really thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to do dine and dash. That's
well,
what I
it
was
seemed like
expecting.
the waitress was kind of onto him a little bit. Like she looked like although she didn't even say anything, but she looked like so when he ends up going back, though, he hitchhiked all the way back also?
Yeah, because there he gets dropped off by another family in a truck, but they let him
The
in the
kid's
back
pretty
seat.
good at hitchhiking.
Oh, dude, he sticks the thumb out like Incredible Hulk.
Ridiculous.
He pops that bad boy out. So what did you think they were feeding? They didn't explain, or maybe I missed it. When they were feeding Willy or Luna, when they're trying to heal Luna, what are they feeding her? It was like, open your mouth. They threw a big leaf on it, and they like dropped a bunch of stuff on it. I'm like,
well, that's the stuff that the guy with the ponytail grabbed, right? From the tree?
that's what it was. Okay. I missed that.
Yeah, it was like some special, which I questioned if he knew that was going to work. Why didn't he start off with that? Like it was after like they gave Luna the medicine, which didn't work, shockingly.
Yeah.
So then he's like, all right, Jesse, come with me. And they go to the woods. They find this special tree that had this whatever, ancient medicine in there. And that's what he gave Luna. And that worked. So, why not start with that? Like the minute you know that Luna was sick, like, hey, you know what? I know it's going to work. This works. It's perfect. It's in the woods.
Start with the good
let me
stuff.
go get it.
Start with the winner, not the second place thing. Yeah. Get right to the end. Get right to the end of healing them. But it was just like this weird thing dropping in the mouth. I wrote down, you know what? It's so funny that he does like the Native American chant. It's not like funny about that, but like, could you imagine if that is how we were healed? Like you go to a doctor and it's like, oh yeah, what are you here for? A chest thing. I need some help. It's like your doctor will be in to sing you a jingle, and then they sing your like thing, like, and
well,
it's like, all right,
there's holistic healers, and I'm sure they do some kind of chant. So I don't think that's as far fetched. I mean, listen, that's probably the least far fetched in this whole movie.
Thinking this or that's
again, I've never been to a holistic healer, but I'm assuming they have these chants and energy, and they use, but doesn't Jesse also start doing the chant at some point in this movie? Later on, maybe?
Which I guess that's a callback to the first one, the way they showed him grab his necklace, and then he started making sounds. So I'm guessing that was a callback to the first one. I don't remember that.
But okay, so, but I would assume, because the guy with the ponytail is Native American, they have that in their culture. They have that. Like, I don't think anyone could just start chanting
that's not cool.
Healing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think that could, I think it's part of your culture and part of, maybe just your inner whatever. I mean, like you have that power to do that. I don't think anyone just grabs a necklace and can start chanting and it's going to work for everybody.
Yeah. No, there should not be.
No.
It's like a white voodoo guy.
Yeah.
That just doesn't work. It does not
absolutely.
work. So now we cut to a diner. Elvis is getting breakfast, and that's what we mentioned earlier. Emmett Walsh is talking to who that guy really looks like, but the oil guy. He's not a bad guy. At this point, obviously, he turns because that's what Emmett Walsh is like, hey, we're going to go evil, and we're going to keep the whales. We're not going to let them go. We're going to keep them, lease them out to aquariums.
But they seem to be saying that very loudly to the fact that he can hear. So the Elvis is hearing this entire conversation. That means everybody in that whole diner could hear it. Like, this is something that probably should be a little bit more low key, considering it's a small town to begin with. Yeah. So every thing that's going on, everybody knows about. So like, you really want to say this loud for someone to go back and say, hey, this is what's about to happen, which obviously does happen. So yeah, they should have been a little bit more discreet about it. Yeah,
I thought Elvis was going to get kidnapped. I thought when he got up, they were going to be like, hey, I saw that kid before. That's that kid Jesse's brother.
How long do you think this movie is? It's like 20 minutes left.
No, I know, but I thought that was going to be the how they were going to, I don't know, add something into it. But
Okay, if that was the case, he would never be rescued because the family didn't like him anyway.
That's true. The ransom.
So
Yeah, the
they're like,
ransom.
we have Elvis. All right, well, I guess, good luck with that. I guess we're never going to see him
Yes,
again.
Elvis has left the building. Let's put my stuff back in his room. Back to my yoga studio. But no, I was just thinking like, oh man, are they going to see him leave? No, he hitchhikes back. He's in a truck and he gets back like just in time. Because at the same time, this is when the bad guys got the phone call. Yeah.
Correct.
They have Luna, but they're like setting up the big buoys with the nets, which is really sketchy.
But, it's funny. When Elvis gets there and he's starting to tell their plan, he goes, you have to trust me. And they're like, why should we trust you? And he goes, nobody has.
Yeah.
This kid has been lying the entire movie. So like the fact that he said that, no kidding, no one trusts you because you haven't told the truth about one thing the entire movie.
No, that's
true.
true.
Boy cried wolf.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. But this one, at least it was something that definitely, but he gets back just in time to reveal it. But the fact that they're like, Randolph was tricked. That's the thing that was really sketchy. That Randolph was like, oh no, because Nadine was worried. And he was like, no, they're making sure that they're not affected by it. And then like within seconds, it was like, oh yeah, we're going to throw the whale up on this thing and lift it up.
But think about, okay, so he hears the conversation, and by the time he gets there, it's already in motion. How fast did he get picked up by a hitchhiker, like a car, that he was able to get that? And then how did he know where he was going? Because he's at a campsite. Like he was how did he know exactly where to go? And he got there fast enough. First of all, a car picked up. What does anyone who hitchhikes gets picked up right away?
Oh my God! I think that's the way it used to be, which I'm happy. I really hope,
because now you watch movies, or when I drive by, I see hitchhikers. No one's close to picking you up.
I lock the doors.
It's okay. Well,
Even
I guess if you see
70, I'm locking those doors. I'm pressing the gas.
Of course. But I guess if you see an 8-year-old, you're not thinking mass murderer.
No, I'm calling the police and saying, hey, there's this 8-year-old kid. Either he's a serial killer or he's just, lost his parents. Either or.
Okay.
I'm not messing around.
Well, clearly he's able to hitchhike and he gets back in fast time. So, okay.
Yeah. All right. I do love that Jesse, right away, he has balls. He confronts the adults and he knocks the guy into the water.
And they act like they're drowning. They're a foot from the dock. They were right there, and they act like a drowning. But this kid has balls of steel. He's 12 years old, and from here on, the stuff that he does and goes through for a 12-year-old is insane. It's insane.
No, it's wild. And Elvis at this point too, he's like, "Hey, this is my brother. You're gonna mess with my brother," and he kicks the other guy, the henchman, into the water. But
how hard do you think Elvis kicked an 8-year-old kicked him that the guy went flying into the water? Because it wasn't like it would be one thing if he pushed him, but he kicked him, and the guy lofts into the water right next to the other guy. Okay.
And then from here, it's very dramatic, the rest of the movie, because this is when we get kind of a slow-mo, Willy comes back just in time. He flies over. He's able to get Luna down. And then at the same time, that's when Emmett Walsh and his terrible stunt double was overweight. And it was so bad. And they're he's holding the rope to hold Luna up. That, you have all these henchmen, and you have this man at this point that's 75 doing this?
Well, Luna was healed at this point. Why wasn't Luna doing anything to get out? She was just laying there.
Can maybe fish out of water.
She can't flop around in the air? And that, okay, so that's an oil rig. How do they have the equipment that's strong enough to lift a whale? Or how do they have equipment to lift a whale? It's an oil rig. Then it's not a rig to go out there. It's an oil ship, whatever. It's not a ship to go out there and pick up whales. So why did they have that?
I thought it was just a white boat. I don't think it was the oil rig, because the oil rig was on fire at this point, right?
So that's a boat that's specifically to go in the ocean to pick up whales?
A whale tow truck or something.
Yeah, but the boat wasn't that big that when they bring the whale on board, where are they putting it?
Oh, that's a great question. Maybe they just hold it over the water.
But it needs
Until-
water. Like,
Dip
how
it-
long
dip
can a
it every
whale
so
stay out of
often.
water?
Just dip it every
So,
so
like,
often.
it's like it like dunks it. So as
Yeah,
it's
you
going,
dunk
it
it.
just dunks in the water, brings it back up.
1,
'cause,
2,
I mean,
3, dunk.
I was thinking, like, where are they putting this whale? Because it was up in the air, like, so where are they going to put, like, even if they were able to bring it on board, how much room is this whale going to have in whatever container they're going to put it in? It's literally just going to sit there if it
Yeah.
fits in there at all. Like, yeah, okay.
Or maybe they had like there was a truck ready to get it, like whatever aquarium they were selling it to.
But again, how big? Like, it didn't seem like a truck that's going to carry a whale,
A
What, a big
giant
fish
tractor
tank?
trailer.
and with a big fish tank.
Yeah. How else do they do
I
it?
don't think
There has to be a way they get it, right?
Yeah,
Like, how
I
do they
just,
get a polar bear into the Bronx Zoo? There's gonna be some like
wait, you're comparing a polar bear to a whale?
no, not exactly, but
Polar bear could sit in the front seat. I mean, that's, it's just, a whale can't. I mean, so
Polar
so they
bear
strap the
hell
whale
in
to
a
the top of the car
taxi.
like skis. So they strap it to the top of the car like skis. That's all.
Yeah.
Or they put it in the
Uh.
big bag like the goldfish, like at the carnival.
a giant bag to a little twist tie. Oh my god, man. So at this point, the kids are in the boat. It's Nadine and Jesse, and the adults are going after them. And Elvis was smart enough to tie. Like, how would they not have checked that?
Not good henchman. Not good bad.
No,
Not good
and then they
bad.
go right into the water. They hit the end of the rope and they dump right into the water.
Wait, so were the adults looking like wanting to stop Jesse, or were they encouraging him to get out there and do what he had to do? I don't remember.
No, the adults were the henchmen. It was like the
No, I'm talking about like
henchmen.
Jesse's
Oh, the
parents.
other ones?
You know,
I don't remember anybody saying stop.
Yeah. right.
Yeah,
So they're okay with what's going on. That these two 12-year-olds and an 8-year-old going in the midst of all this violent stuff going on, they're okay with that. Like,
yeah.
no adult decided, hey, maybe we should go with you.
Maybe we should do it, guys. No,
But-
I guess
or
they were
just-
too busy. Why don't I know what they were doing
Wait,
at
you're
this
gonna tell me
point?
one adult couldn't jump in the boat with them? Say, hey, you know what? Maybe you guys shouldn't go alone. Bring an adult with me. Like Michael Madsen should have jumped in there.
Yeah. No, Michael Madsen would have been good in that part, but maybe they were like, hey, you're going to bring us down. You guys weigh a lot. We just need to fly. We have to go as fast as we can
Yep.
in order to, save Willy. Because at this point, this is when Willy does something that's crazy. The fact that they use the original, like I talked about the Jaws 1, Jaws 2 comparison with this movie, it's like the same sort of ending in a way, but the fact that he's like sign language to him for him to jump and basically do like an
Yep.
elbow drop onto the buoy was just wild to me.
Which to me seemed very dangerous because there was like a net
Yes.
there. And when he landed on it, I'm thinking like he's going to get caught in that net.
Yeah.
Like it's going to wrap around him. And no, just, yeah. And the fact that he knew exactly what to do because Jesse told him to.
Just doing and then doing it again, landing
Oh.
in it. It was just like, oh my God, really? Can Will? I know I've seen whales jump out of the water before, but I don't know why it's just silly when they
So-
do it for elbow drop.
And then, but if he could have done it all this time, why didn't he do it all this time?
Sure. Couldn't he have done
Because
that?
they were trapped in there.
Yeah.
They were trapped in there. Okay.
Jesse had to tell him. Willy, come on, man, get on it. You had to jump up and land through that thing. That's why
So
they
ridiculous.
need me. Yeah,
Okay.
elbow dropping on a buoy.
It worked.
Yeah, I wrote like it's so funny when we look at our notes when we're doing this. I wrote Madsen is the most normal I've ever seen him, and it's great.
Like I said, I couldn't believe it so much that I had to look it up, make sure there was Madsen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said because he does look different also. He looked a little heavier. Like he just
Yeah.
looked different. Like you look like a dad. You're so used to seeing him such a crazy look to him that I literally had to look it up. Like maybe it's just a guy that looks like Madsen. No, it was Madsen. I'm like, all right, that's great acting because it's
Best acting ever. You usually play a scumbag. You're actually like kind of a nice guy in a movie. And so,
yeah, that's so weird.
and now at this point, this is when the oil ship, when they're reporting on the news, it's reports that there might be some fires on board, but I think they have it under control. 10 seconds later, boom, it's like
massive
on
fire.
fire. Yeah.
Massive, like ridiculous.
Like minutes later, everything's exploding. There's flames all over the water. and Jesse has a hole in his boat, and you get the helicopter rescue just in time.
Okay.
How crazy
Okay.
was that?
Okay. All right. First of all, these are the worst rescue people I think I've ever
Yeah.
seen in a movie, because they literally leave the child in the water and leave.
Mhm.
I mean, the fact that they actually turned around and left, like, while he's still in the ocean, because they couldn't see because of the smoke.
Mhm.
That's why. Like, how about, like, before you leave, send an adult down there, to be with the kid or something like that, or like, no, they
They
just
don't
leave
care
him there.
about kids. Adults are for adults, man.
Ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, how brave was this? Like, crazy. Like, like I said, this kid, like, he's 12. I mean, if I had a fire that's, in my car, I'm freaking out. Like, he really wasn't freaking out at all. He was so calm and, like, putting the kid, the youngest first, then the girl, and then, like, he was going to go last. And, like, yeah, it was crazy.
No, what was crazy too was, how about, like, they get up there, they get saved, Nadine and Elvis, and he's up there last, and they can't grab him. He falls
he
like
didn't look that
so
okay.
far.
Well, he grabbed it quickly, right? Like, when he put it on himself, and so, like, it didn't look like it was that sturdy on him either. Like, he was, like, hanging, in
Oh
there.
yeah, but
Like,
I'm saying the guy goes to reach for him and
I know.
misses him, and it's like,
they
really?
didn't have like some kind of another rope for him to grab or
To hook
something
up in the
to, like,
plane?
pull
Yeah, I
him in.
know. They usually have that, like a carabiner to, like, swap
Nothing.
you.
And again, the fact that he ends up falling and then they leave, like, that they didn't send someone to rappel down in another rope or something like that. This one, see if the kid's alive and okay from a massive fall. Well, like, all right, like, don't leave him alone. Like, you got to have plan B. You're the rescue team. Like, you have one plan, and if the plan doesn't work, well, we tried.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they acted.
Yeah. Oh my god, kids are like, yeah, we're gonna go. This plane's gonna blow. They're like, all for us, man. We're gonna fly off
Listen,
now.
we
We're gonna
got
leave this
we
kid.
got 2 of the 3 kids who we're leaving. We're ahead of the game. So if we leave one behind, it's okay.
Oh my god! And I even wrote, like, even before that, like, Jesse's underwater almost drowning. Like, one of those, like, shots you were talking about, that these people are underwater for so long. That happened, and then that's when he got pulled up. Guy couldn't follow him. He falls into the water, and then we get, like, a lot of slow-mo swimming, and out of nowhere, Willy is there to save the day.
And how long was he underwater again? Like, even with Willy throughout. How about the scene when they were both swimming underwater?
Yeah.
Like, they were under. I can't hold my breath underwater more than 40 seconds. Like, these kids are, like, without, like, starting to panic. Like, these kids are under deep water. It wasn't even like, and they're trusting these fish or mammals, whatever, to bring them to surface in time.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
But it was a cool shot when they went under the fire, and you see the
Oh,
fire
yeah.
above, and
No, it looked really cool. Even the robotics, that's what's so interesting about this movie. Is I think the first one prided themselves in, like, barely using any CGI. And this one definitely adapted and used more. Like, pretty good. Like, it was like,
Yeah.
sometimes obviously when a harmonica's on the tongue, they're feeding whales harmonicas. But it actually looked like, okay, cool. This is, like, believable. So when it comes to that part of it, so good.
right, yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, so really, it's so funny. The end of the movie is just like, all right, we're saved. Jesse's trying to command Willy to leave. He won't leave. And then they ride off into the sunset. Well, Willy rides off. He finally listens. He rides off. Then he shoots a bunch of water out of his blowhole. It's
Well,
like, all right.
this is the scene I'm saying that he tells Willy to leave when Willy's already ahead of him. Willy can't see him, and he's pointing. He does, like, 'cause I think the guy with the ponytail said, do the move, whatever.
Yeah.
And he does the move, but Willy's already ahead, and he knows to leave. Like, how did Willy know that he was doing that?
Yeah, I
He
know.
senses it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
They're connected by minds. They mind meld, and they
Clearly.
oh my
It's like
God.
ET. It's like an ET thing.
Oh man, so this is the tug of the heartstrings. When Elvis comes up and he gives Jesse a picture, him as, like, probably a 1-year-old, and the mom, and he's like, ripped a little bit, so I taped it up, and it's like, wow, dude, that's deep.
But see, so the mom was alive. Mom had another child. She just they didn't want Jesse? Like, did they explain
Yeah,
why?
I guess maybe he was like being taken care of, and she knew she couldn't take care of him.
But she could because she has another child. So like she
oh
never
yeah,
thought
she
about
took care
reaching
of him
back out.
well. She took care of him well.
Wow.
Talks to stranger.
Well, you know what though? But she trained him enough to hitchhike.
That is
He
true.
could hitchhike. So, but yeah, all right.
Hitchhiking
Like,
101
part
from a
of me
baby, like the perfect thumb.
I was just surprised, they have this whole thing where Jesse's like so attached to his mom, but the mom had no care to look for Jesse at all, and was raising another kid. I don't know. They really painted the mom as not a great person.
It seems like a terrible person. But Jesse, at least he got something, you know. He was able to get that photo, like that meant a lot to him.
And he walked away with the girl.
He walks away with the girl, and then
Nice.
cut to like that's the end of the movie, and they cut to, hey, let's show the whales, and we see the whales all together. So it worked out. They found their mama, and that.
I think the third one, Willy has a child. Maybe.
Oh my god! So like,
I think I could be
son
wrong.
of Godzilla or
Son
son
of
of
Willy.
Kong?
Son of Willy.
Son
I could be
of
wrong. I could be
Willy.
wrong.
But yeah, so wow, so the third
Do you
one.
think? Do you think he ever like considers like Willy to be his?
But wait,
so he
Pat,
says,
I don't know.
"Have you
I feel like they're equals. Like I
Right,
feel like they're buddies
do
that
you think he
understand
ever
each other.
tells people, "Have you seen my Willy?"
Have you seen my Willy? I wonder how he got the name Willy. That'd be probably like something they drop in the first one, I would think. Unless he said it. My name's Willy. Oh, okay. Hi, Willy.
He probably told him.
Yeah, he signed it to him. He told him with his eyes. 'Cause obviously, he doesn't have like fingers and thumbs, so it's not like he can. Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, he communicates very well with him, so he probably said somehow, "My name is Willy," and he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, cool. I'm Jesse. Oh, great. We're going to be best friends forever and ever. I'm going to stalk you. You're going to stalk me. It won't be like every year or every month. It'll be like every like 3 or 4 years. But
I'm gonna be honest though, he doesn't seem like a Willy. I mean, he's a big,
Oh.
like Willy's kind of like a
Hank?
weak name.
Henry the
Hank.
whale?
Henry, I like Henry better.
Henry
the whale.
Henry's the big boy. So that was
Okay.
Free Willy 2. Jamie, would you show this? Wait, better question. 2 questions. Would you recommend this? And would you let your kids have watched this as like 6-year-olds?
Okay, so I think my answers are going to contradict each other. So no, I would not recommend this movie. I think the first one was a good one. If I remember it correctly, it had a different kind of story. This is kind of like a similar story at one point, but there's not a lot of Free Willy in most of the movie. It's mostly like a middle school drama kind of story, between the brothers, the girlfriend kind of thing. So no, I wouldn't recommend this movie. However, I think it's good enough for middle school and up, because I think they would enjoy this movie. Honestly, the mom part, which is kind of dark, is very small in this movie. I mean, it's mentioned like twice, but yeah, I mean, so if you're a middle schooler, you may like it like any other the Hallmark animal movies, whatever. But if I'm to tell people, I would not recommend it. Just watch the first one. Like this is really
There's just not a lot of redeeming qualities. There's not like
no. There isn't.
outlandish characters or somebody that's memorable. There's not like memorable like dialogue or there's really just
honestly,
not much going on.
There's a lot going on in the last 15 minutes, but the movie felt like it was so much longer because there wasn't going on until the last 15 minutes. Like there was a lot of like side nonsense that had nothing to do with whales. So I think if the last scene was expanded more and we saw way more of the whales from more of the movie, then maybe. But it just really didn't seem like a Willy movie. Like it felt like it was really, Free Jesse kind of thing. It wasn't a Free Willy. So yeah.
Man, so then we go to we just had 3 killers in a row. We had Freddy, then Jason, then Killer Whale in Willy, and next up we're gonna kick off our 6th Scary Sequel month, and we're gonna kick it off with a sequel that has a former guest of ours, Patrick Kilpatrick, and that is Class of 1999. It also has Pam Grier. Also has, who else is in this one? John P. Ryan. Like, there's a ton of people in this movie. Ed Ford, I talked with special effects and robotics, just master in Eric Allard. His robotics, Johnny 5 and Short Circuit 2. Also the Energizer Bunny. We talked about him working on kids over the years. We talked to a lot of people that worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, including the late, great Tim Lawrence. He worked on that. So we talked about his background, because he didn't think, hey, I always want to work in special effects. He was a Green Beret. So he was in the military and really cool the way everything, because he thought he could just blow stuff up, but fell in love with the robotics, and really cool stories from his career. Great dude. So that'll be a lot of fun. And a class of 1999. This is one we almost covered, Patrick Kilpatrick, but how do you say no to Best of the Best 2? You just don't. You don't. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast, follow us on all social media at Sequels Only, and don't forget to share our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.